Looks like my conquest begins again. Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy here to review another sequel to an anime I have seen before. This time it's on The World God Only Knows Season 3. So The World God Only Knows Season 3 once again follows our favorite god of conquest, Kazaragi Keima, who in previous seasons was tasked to finding these loose souls that were trapped inside various girls. But this time around the plot takes a more darker and menacing turn as this ominous threat reveals itself and plans to release the evils of ancient hell upon the world, and the only thing that can stop them are these beings known as goddesses, who coincidentally, and you're gonna get a kick out of this, are trapped inside the girls that Keima had already romanced and conquered. So now it's up to Keima to figure out which one of the girls have goddesses within them, romance these girls in order to unleash and awaken the goddess within before time runs out. Now I really enjoyed the first two seasons of The World God Only Knows. As a fan of romantic comedies, it really appealed to me with all of its comedic elements, romance elements, and really likable characters. And a lot of you have been begging me to watch the third season after doing the review for the first two and all of my complaints about the first two seasons, about how the girls didn't come back after their arcs were finished and how some elements really bothered me. They said, oh, don't worry, season 3 will fix all of your problems. And I gotta say, most of my problems were fixed and addressed in the third season, and honestly, the third season is without a doubt my favorite season in the franchise so far. Not only were the romantic and comedic elements on full display here, but they actually took some emotional turns that I didn't expect to see in this show that actually really touched me, and I thought, honestly, they handled very well compared to the other two seasons. And I'll try my damnedest not to spoil anything in this review because there are a lot of things that could be ruined for you if I were to go into detail about them. So let's dive into some of the good aspects of the third season. First off, right off the bat, the animation looks really good. It looks amazing. So vivid, so colorful. It was really well done. As I mentioned earlier, and as you guys pointed out to me, the third season does fix a lot of the problems that I had with the previous seasons and added some new elements to this new season that makes it really stand out. The first one that they fixed, and the one that I wanted them to fix, was that we actually get to revisit the other girls that Keima had conquered before. And most of them do show up in this season. Although they might not be a huge presence in the season, they do pop up once again, and it was really good to see all of them. Although it kind of sucked that we couldn't see the full story of these other girls that Keima romance. They kind of show them briefly in the first episode, kind of like to catch everybody up about the other girls that he has romanced, because some of them do play a key role later on, and I will not say which girl plays a key role. You'll have to watch the season to find out because I don't want to spoil it for you. Although fair warning, I will be going into great detail with my two favorite stories in this season in this review that do feature girls that Keima had romanced before. Now, whether or not they have a goddess within them, I guess you're just gonna have to find out. Another thing that I really found fascinating in the third season, and they kind of addressed the problem that I had in the previous seasons, is that they play off of the idea of gender reversal, because in one story, Keima switches minds with the girl that he's trying to romance, so now the girl who's stuck in his body has to romance him stuck in her body, and it was pretty interesting to see Keima's body kind of romance Keima's mind, which kind of plays off of the whole him romancing a guy. And whenever she would show up later on in this season, he would get all, oh my god, it's that girl, and he would act like one of the maidens that he romances in one of his video games. I found that very interesting. Not only did the third season fix some of the problems that I had with the first two seasons, but they added new dimensions in the third season that I thought really helped the series. Like, they introduced this new demon by the name of Nora and her buddy, whose name escapes me, but I thought that was really cool that they actually addressed that Elsie's not the only one who also has a buddy in this world. I like that they addressed that. And they also play off of the whole love triangle harem element that you would see in romantic comedies. In the first 2 seasons, they don't really play off of that because he would romance a girl and they would forget it and then we move on to the next girl. In this one, the girls have their memories back, so now they all have lingering feelings, and thus the harem love triangle begins, and I got a kick out of it. Now, as for the characters, although some of them did lack in development in this new season, I still found them all extremely likable, and they all had their own standout moments. And I really appreciated that Hakwa got more screen time in this new season, and she got to partake in some of the action, got to partake in some of the romantic comedy elements. It was really fun to see her kind of be part of the team now. Some of my favorite standout moments in this season is, first off, Shiori's My Story segment. I found that really endearing, really touching, and we got a little insight on her character, and I really liked it. She's actually one of my favorite girls and actually one of my favorite stories from the first season. Another one that really stood out to me and probably is the best one in this new season is Ayumi and Chihiro's tragic love triangle. Now, I can't really go into great detail about this story because it would give away major spoilers, but just the way that it unfolded was not only very comical, very romantic, but really sad by the end of it. And that's all I'm going to say about that story. And the last moment that really stood out to me and I found really endearing and touching was Tenri's magic tricks. There comes a point later on in the season where Keima is in a really dark place and Tenri comes over to kind of like cheer him up and to lighten his mood, and I found that really touching and really endearing, and it really shows you how much Tenri really cares about Keima. It's probably one of the most down-to-earth and relatable moments in The World God Only Knows, and I really appreciate that they showed this scene in this anime. I really liked it. And kind of going off of the whole standout moments, I thought the story was very well done, and it took a lot of interesting and emotional turns while still keeping the conquest formula intact. I mean, the third season does a really good job at expanding the universe of The World God Only Knows with the introduction of goddesses, a little knowledge of hell and ancient hell and the demons that occupy it. The world just grows bigger and it makes the series even more interesting. Not only did they add these new story elements, but they also gave us a really emotional and heart-wrenching story in the latter half of the third season that just might bring tears to your eyes. I mean, I literally almost teared up at how sad this story is, and we actually get a little bit more insight to the character of Keima and the emotional turmoil that he goes through on a daily basis. And I actually thought that was really good that they addressed that here in the third season. Now, as much as I really appreciated that they addressed some of the problems I had in previous seasons and they added new story elements to the series, I did have a couple problems with the third season of The World God Only Knows. My biggest problem with the third season was the exclusion of Elsie. What the hell? Not only was Elsie one of my favorite characters in the first 2 seasons, but the dynamic chemistry and relationship that she shared with Keima was the thing that really held this series together. I enjoyed every moment that they shared together, the bond that they created, and the moments that they shared. It's the one thing that I really took out from the first 2 seasons. I really liked them. In the third season, they push her to the wayside and she has to pretend to be this somebody else, and we don't really see much of her. Thus, we don't get a lot of bonding moments with her and Keima. We don't really get any of those that really shine in the first 2 seasons. I mean, yeah, you fixed some of the problems that I had in the first 2 seasons, but you take away the one strength that you had from the first 2 seasons in season 3? Are you stupid? I mean, honestly, if I had to pick between them fixing the problems that I had with the first 2 seasons or keeping Elsie relevant in the third season, I would choose the latter than the former, because that's how much I really liked Elsie as a character. She was very pivotal to the show, and I felt like excluding her from some of the action and the story was kind of a spit in the face to her character. Yeah, she pops up now and again to remind people, hey, I'm still in the series, I didn't go away forever, but it was just a shame that she was reduced to a secondary character when she should be part of the main character status of the third season. Another issue that I had, and it was kind of a continuation off of an issue that I had in the previous seasons, is that this season also suffers from the Air TV syndrome, where a girl will go through her arc, go through her development, and then she'll disappear only to reappear when the plot calls for it. I know the focus is on Kama romancing these various girls to unleash the goddess within them, and they do come up with a reason as to why they can't be seen or why they have to stay in one place, which I thought was a total cop-out. They should have had moments where these angel sisters got to hang out together. I mean, it could have happened. You don't have to push them away and they only pop up when you want them to pop up. And the last and probably the most disappointing factor of the third season is that the endgame is extremely anticlimactic. I mean, they started on such a high note in the first episode. I got really excited. I was just waiting for the endgame to come so I could see some awesome throwdowns between the goddesses and the demons. And by the end of it, all we really get is Kama bonding with this one girl and little splices of action here and there, but they're all like 15 to 20 seconds long. We don't really get to see the action unfold. Hell, even Hakwa gets a fight scene, yet we don't see the fight scene in its fullest. We only get snippets of the beginning, a little in the middle, and then the end of it. Wow. You cannot build up that much anticipation and not show the end game fight. That is just fucking messed up. So overall, although this new season does have its fair share of problems, it also added a lot of new dimensions to the series as a whole that I really appreciated and I got a kick out of. And that's why I'm gonna give the third season of The World God Only Knows a 4 out of 5 stars. I think it is definitely worth watching, especially for fans of The World God Only Knows. But anyway, what did you guys think about the third season of The World God Only Knows? Did you get a kick out of it, or were you really let down and disappointed? And let me know, who is your favorite girl in The World God Only Knows? Comment below and let me know, and stay tuned. I'm hoping to do a why I won't watch video tomorrow. I don't know if I will get it done. If I don't, I apologize. A lot of things going on this week. I also have another review coming out on something I just finished watching today, and also I have some movie reviews coming your way and a food for thought next Wednesday. So until those days come, guys, hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Welcome to the Black Critic Guy. Like this video if you really enjoyed it, and I'm Tony Watt II, the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.